Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharya Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that are watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that are going to be watching this discourse on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. I would just like all of us to observe a moment of silence. One of our workers that was responsible for putting the roof on this ashram passed away, I think, somewhere before the 22nd of December last year. Thank you. We knew him as Tiger. He worked at this ashram for I think 2 years before he joined Vasan in his aircon company. He was an alcoholic. I did my best to keep him sober, and when he joined Vasan, we also did his best to keep him sober. We gave him many warnings, and about 2 years ago, I warned him that if he does not stop drinking, he's going to get stabbed. And the same weekend, I think, he got stabbed and he landed in hospital. And I think 3 days or 2 days before his death this year, Vasan was taking him to AA meetings. And I also warned him and told him, if you leave the AA, your family will find it very difficult to find your body. And it happened exactly like that. His body was in Phoenix Mortuary from the 22nd of December. They just found him yesterday. So you cannot play Russian roulette with alcohols and drugs. You cannot play Russian roulette with alcohol and drugs. There was another member that was a builder that came from Parkgate to work here at ashram. I'm forgetting his name. That building, this entire building, right round, he built. I also warned him, please stop your drugs. If you do not stop, it's going to be fatal. I also have warned my children and my relatives and my friends, and I continue to warn them that drug and alcohol, if you are in addiction, you cannot play Russian roulette with drugs and alcohol if you are in addiction. Addiction means that you have no control over alcohol and drugs. There are those that can take drugs every day of their life and live to 80 years old. It's because the chemical in the body breaks the drug inside the system. There are those that can drink one bottle every day of their life and live to 80 years old, because within 8 hours the chemical released from the brain diffuses the alcohol in the blood. But if alcohol controls you, and if drug controls you, then that drug or alcohol is there to kill you. It's in your destiny. It is in your destiny to die from alcohol overdose die from drug overdose. God is the perfect manufacturer. Who manufactures this body? Who is the architect and manufacturer of the human body and the human brain? Is the Supreme Lord. There is no mistake that your brain cannot release chemicals to break down the alcohol or the drugs. There is no mistake because the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Scientist. Is he not? If there is a chemical deficiency in your brain, is it not through the grace of God? Is it not through the grace of God? So if God made you an addict, it means you will die from your addiction. It means you will die from your addiction purposely. God created that purposely because it is your destiny from a previous life. It is your destiny from a previous life, and for you to fit into this life, you have to pay the karmas of your previous life. And if you are to die, you will die through alcohol addiction or drug addiction. Do you understand? This ashram at the moment is on the final chapters of my biography. Everything in my biography as I prophesied came to pass. And this discourse that I'm giving Prince, I think you're going to include. Every time I told Prince, that's your last chapter from chapter 12, we're now gone to chapter 23. So I think this discourse will be chapter 24. Alright? So Prince has been well fed. You can see his stomach. He got no complaints to get a few more chapters under his belt. Stomach, okay, sorry. Alright? And Prince is remembering, because also 2 years ago, Nirali, I also prophesied Prince. I told him, see your personal assistance. I'm sure she's watching this discourse. She watches all my discourses. I said she's going to ruin your life. Yes, Prince? I told you to stay far from her. Yes, Prince? So what Prince did, he stayed far from the Guru. He took my advice adversely. Alright? Because he felt that Guru, that beautiful Guru he had, who's this old man with a white beard, to break such a beautiful relationship. So Prince chose PA over GURU. You can do an equation there, that is right. I'm a mathematician and do an equation. So similarly, everyone that listens will prosper. So God in His mercy and grace, created the AA program. Have you all heard of the AA program? It has the concept from the Bhagavad Gita. It has the concept from the Bhagavad Gita, and it was revealed in about 48 minutes. It was revealed in 48 minutes. So God gave, through His grace, a way out. So no human can blame the Supreme Lord for the chemical deficiency in his brain that cannot break down drugs and alcohol. So the Narcotics Anonymous adopted the original blueprint of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I had the opportunity of celebrating my birthday. Last birthday was celebrated 3rd of October after a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. And I did this to show the power of the Supreme Lord in Narcotics Anonymous? Am I not a representative of the Supreme Lord? Am I not a guru that has broken all societal barriers as a guru? Am I not? Do I fear to go into the trenches? My job is to salvage you. So therefore I can associate myself, even if I have to go in a brothel and do a service. You think I'll do it? Unhesitatingly. Because my job is to salvage the fallen soul, not the prosperous soul. Other gurus are busy salvaging the prosperity from prosperous soul, and they are making it a business, aren't they? Yes. Look around, go on social media, you see these big famous gurus that's prospering around the world. They are salvaging the prosperity of souls that are already prosperous because they're making it a business. This ashram is not a business entity, it is a salvaging of the soul entity. So I'm going to do a series of discourses because it relates to the soul. Addiction is part of the soul, is it not? And don't you think we should address it head on? Is drug addiction and alcohol addiction not the greatest killer in our society today? Is it not breaking families, relationships? Is it not breaking society at its core? Especially affluent families, middle class and higher and above. Here in Reservoir Hills, there's more drugs than in our neighboring Clare Estate. Clare Estate is a middle class to lower class people living in Clare Estate and Asheville. I think that's how Dana is not involved in any drug or alcohol addiction. He's from Springtown. Alright? But if you look at Reservoir Hills, there are parents crying here. There are parents crying, rich parents. They send their children to rehab. Rehab is only a small part of arresting the disease through force. This disease cannot be arrested through force. It must be arrested through love. You can't, because as soon as you come out of the rehab, the disease is waiting for you outside. You have to rehabilitate your mind, not your physical body. Rehab rehabilitates your physical body to arrest or de-addict. For arresting of this disease or de-addiction, you have to rehabilitate the mind. And there is a cure for this disease. There is a cure for this disease. The cure is Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholic Anonymous. Years ago, about 25 years ago, when I was drinking too much, I was introduced to the Alcoholics Anonymous. Murali, why are you looking at the Guru like that? So I went there and I saw old men. I was about 25, 26. When I went there, I saw old men. And I said to myself, this is not for me. When I'm in my late 40s or 50s, then I'll come here. But I enjoyed the talks. I enjoyed the talks. Nevertheless, I went out back in society and I continued abusing alcohol because I always had money. My business was always cash, so my pockets were always full. And this disease, they say in the book, it's cunning, baffling and powerful. Cunning, baffling and powerful. It is a state of mind. This disease exists in your mind. It's like any other disease. Alcoholism and drug addiction and gambling as well. Gambling as well. Any of these addictions is a state of mind, because I explained in previous discourses that karma sits on your attributive consciousness. Karma sits on your attributive consciousness, which is the intellect, the mind and the gross body. That's where karma sits. So it is important for us to break these boundaries in society and embrace this disease. Is it not important? Is it not important? Yes. Because once you expose this disease only prospers when it is not acknowledged. This disease, prosperity is when it is not acknowledged. As soon as you acknowledge this disease, as parents, as brothers, as sisters, as wives, as husbands, and the person that is diseased, it must be a conclusive acceptance by all that is concerned in terms of the disease. When everyone acknowledges this disease in the family, what happens to the prosperity of that disease? It starts killing itself. So when you go to these meetings, and when I went, and I still go to these meetings, as I said, I have done over 200 of these meetings in the recent past. All those affected with this disease, got one surname. Person, when you introduce yourself at the meeting, what do you say? I'm going to give you all Vasan stories. What do you say when you go to, you introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm Acharya Ji, I'm an addict. When Jessica will say, hi, I'm Jessica, I'm an addict. Then Nirali will say, hi, I'm Nirali, I'm an addict. And Prince will say, hi, I'm Prince, I'm an addict. So what is the surname? Do you understand? Everyone who admits to this illness have the same surname. And that's where they become a family. That's where they become a family. There is no greater love. There is no greater love than between two recovering addicts. If you have to measure love, and love is supposed to be the highest feeling in any human being, there is no greater love than between two recovering addicts. And it's written in the book that there is the therapeutic value between two addicts cannot be estimated. The therapeutic bond between two addicts can never be estimated. Are you understanding what I'm saying? This is spirituality at its highest. This is spirituality at its highest. So when I tell you, above religion is spirituality, above religion is spirituality, this program of the NA and the AA is a laboratory to prove that spirituality is above religion. And let's look at that. An addict can never be cured in a mosque. An addict can never be cured in a mosque, in an ashram, in a church, in a synagogue, in a temple. An addict can never be cured. As I said, I sat in over 200 meetings. They tell you every addict speaks his truth. And the reason addicts, the disease become arrested is because of the absolute truth. No addict that lies can remain sober. Any addict that lies falls from his sobriety. Any relapse is because of a lie. You see here on the throat? See here? Is the throat chakra. There's a chakra, there's an energy point behind the throat, and when you tell a lie, your spirituality that's supposed to go to your crown chakra gets disconnected. Your spirituality that's supposed to go to the crown chakra gets disconnected. Your chakra starts at the bottom of the spine. It is a spiritual antenna that raises itself until your frequency is of the highest. And your frequency is of the highest when you speak the truth to yourself. Merely to, not to the Guru. You must say, I am Nirali and these are my 500,000 faults. Then you must start listing them in any order and do a checklist to Nirali, to yourself. So what happens to this throat chakra? If you don't tell it lies, Jessica, don't think you had a throat operation, the chakra came out. That's a spiritual chakra. You tell lies, you will catch it. Jessica was very happy, she had a throat operation, she thought, no, that doesn't affect her. No, Jess. It's a spiritual chakra. So as soon as you tell a lie, you are not authentic to who? So the person that vibrates at the highest frequency is authentic to them. So if you keep telling yourself the truth, if you continuously tell yourself the truth, and I want to tell you all that in my relationship with Guruji, I was authentic to myself. And I'll give you one example, Nirali. When I went for satsang in the first year to Westville, I think we were there for about 3 or 4 years. When I went to satsang on a Thursday and I came back home, I said this before, Prince, I used to eat again. I used to eat again. When I saw the family busy taking out the clothes, I ran in the kitchen, I took out yesterday's mutton curry, I put it on the plate right in the bottom. Then I took the rice and I put it on top of the mutton. I made sure I take no bones. Remember, I'm coming from law, I'm coming from the military, I know how to hide evidence. So I made sure I took no bones. So I spread the meat nicely down, then I put the rice on top, Prince, and then I put today's vegetable on Then I sat in front of everyone, Sean, Shawan and Mataji, and I ate my vegetable. But before doing that, I told Guruji. Before doing that, I told Guruji, I'm very, very sorry, I'm addicted to meat. I know today is a fasting day. I did fast until after the service. And at this service, there used to be a huge havan. And a lot of people really should go to that service because of the havan. They shouldn't go for Guruji, they should go for the havan. And 6 families at a time should sit at the havan kund. So I made friends with the person that brings family to the havan. Remember, I'm intelligent. I was in the military. I was in a law firm. I have to use my intelligence. So I befriended that person. So he brings our family first. Why? Because I was a chain smoker. Already 1.5 hours is gone without me smoking. So if we come first, by the time the last family leaves the havan, I had an opportunity to smoke 3 cigarettes in a row. That's how addicted to cigarettes I was. Yes, Shawan? I must have 5 packets of cigarettes a day. 1 in this pocket, 1 in that pocket, 1 on my wardrobe, 1 in the car cubby. And if I had no money, I didn't buy bread. I bought cigarettes. My life revolved on cigarettes. Cigarettes came first, then the bread came next. Okay? So, when I used to go outside and I used to see other people doing the havan, I was authentic to myself. I told Guruji, I don't have the power to stop smoking. I don't have the power to stop eating meat. So although I lied on the outside, Nirali, although I lied on the outside, Sean, Mataji, as a father I couldn't show Mataji, Sean and Shawan that I went to a satsang and came back and ate meat. I'm the head of the family. It was not, that's the reason why I didn't show them. You understand? And please, don't go home today, Satish, and take out your chicken and put it, then take out your rice and put it on top and bluff Jessica, you eating vegetables, alright? I'm not giving this discourse for you to use it. Alright? I'm talking about why my Guru loved me. You start with your Guru first. You start with your Guru first. Lie here and there, it's fine. You must tell the truth to your Guru for you to remain authentic. You understand? You understand, friends? Yeah, in Assam there you got no chance. Alright? Are you understanding? So the title Acharya means a bona fide spiritual master who teaches by example. When you see anyone who calls you an Acharya, who calls himself an Acharya, that person must give you living examples. Must give you. This is why God positioned me in all of these positions. So when I'm discoursing to you, I'm talking from my own experiences as well. All of you understand? So I think it's important that as an ashram, we get involved. Jessica, you know it will come on your shoulders, in this drug awareness and rehabilitation program, because you see, Vasan, Reservoir Hills High School is still a center for AA, you know? Nirali knows the Kamla. She was one of my early Kamla women. I think the first Kamla woman at the Sri Narayan Dham. Alright? So, 100 meters from that center, there's 100 people that's suffering with alcohol and drug. Yes? Why are they not there? Because they don't know. They don't know. They don't know there is a solution. Their families have written these children off, or the husbands off, or the brothers off, or the fathers off. The families have written them off. They say, go and die. It's better you are dead. We'll cry for one day and then we can live a life. Because addicts trouble their families every day, don't they? Until they kill the love between the parents and themselves. Because addicts don't know there is a solution, and the parents don't know there is a solution. Who do you blame? Now the rule in the Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous is that they must not attract through advertising. That's the rule. That is why they are called anonymous. They are called anonymous because each addict must only cure their own illness, which is a lifetime of job. An addict can't become a curer of the disease. He is the subject. He is the disease himself. And if the addict tries to cure too many people, the addict himself crashes. Because all energy in the addict must be concentrated to himself. He must be clean every day. So it is our duty as the community, and this is why God sent me there. This is why I have done over 200 meetings. I do not have to break I am not a subject of drug or alcohol. I can come out and I can use this platform. Prince, you agree? To send members of the community and tell them there is a solution. There is a solution. This solution is spiritual, not religious. This solution is spiritual and not religious. What spiritual means? Being your authentic self. That is all. To be spiritual, you must be your authentic self. You must be true to yourself. And the beauty of this program, friends, is that as soon as you become true to yourself, the addiction leaves you. The addiction leaves you. There's a 12-step program. As soon as so if you do the 12-step program authentically, if you do it authentically, there is no longer a desire for drugs. There is no longer a desire for drugs or alcohol. But other vices starts to surface. Other vices starts to surface. So you have to kill your anger. You have to kill your hatred. You have to kill your desire. You have to kill your pride. You have to kill your ego. All of that is in the Bhagavad Gita. This has been the same Creator God that spoke the Bhagavad Gita, spoke the Alcoholics Anonymous. So what I'm going to do from next week is I'm going to reference this book. It has never been done in the world before. It has never been done in the world before by any religious or spiritual leader in the world. And my former chairperson and his girlfriend don't like me stating that it's a world first. That it's a world first. If I don't say it, how is the world going to know? So I'm going to take the 12 steps, and I'm going to take the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm going to synchronize it. I'm going to synchronize it and show you the same Lord who spoke the Bhagavad Gita is speaking the NA program. That is why the program was realized in 48 minutes. You know how long it takes to write a book? This book flowed. This book flowed. When something flows, it comes from the Lord. You all heard of Ramanujan, not this Ramanujan, the mathematician Ramanujan. Yes. You all heard of him? So, mathematics flowed through him. He even got the formula to create black holes. Now only scientists found that there is something called a black hole. When knowledge flowed to him, he already got the formula to calculate the black hole. And the worm, there's something called the worm as well. Alright? So I'm not promoting Hinduism, I'm promoting spiritual science. I'm promoting spiritual science. So if a drug addict, a gambling addict, or an alcoholic follows these 12 steps, they are exactly the steps in the Bhagavad Gita. The difference between those who come to mosque, who go to church, and he goes to ashram, the difference is, Nirali, as soon as your father will skid and go up the driveway, come out of the gate, you can throw all my teachings away. Where's Naveen? Naveen? Nirali can tell you, hey dad, 1 hour of bull, the Guru spoke. You understand? But if you're a recovering addict or an alcoholic, you can't say. You have to live it to remain sober that day. Understand what I'm trying to say. This is why God created the NA and the AA and the GA. Yeah, who cares what the Guru says? There, because of the individual need for sobriety, they can't get angry. As soon as they get angry, what will happen? They'll relapse. They can't tell a lie. As soon as they tell a lie, what will happen? They'll relapse. They have to live the spiritual principles every day of their life. They have to get up in the morning, and this is the beauty of it. Every person in this meeting admits that they pray to the God of their own understanding. Hear this again. They pray to the God of their own understanding. So every morning, a Christian will pray to Jesus, a Muslim will pray to Allah, a Hindu will pray to 330 million gods. You understand? And I want to say this in this discourse, friends. Over 50% of Christians read the Bible. How many percent? Over 60 or 70% of Muslims have read the Quran. How many percent? And continue to read it. That same amount of Jews read the Torah. Under 1% of Hindus. Under 1% of Hindus read the Vedas. I want to say it again, Prince. Under 1% of Hindus have read the Vedas. But if you go to a temple and ask a Hindu, or if I start a program, ask a Hindu, Prince won't be able to edit the volumes that under 1% of Hindus know about Hinduism. I don't think there'll be space on cloud. I don't think there'll be space on cloud for the Hindus if you say ask a Hindu. You understand? They know everything. Hindus know, and under 1% of them have read the books. Under 1% of Hindus have read their books. And even if 1%, that under 1% who read, they might have read 2 verses. Then they say, Guru, I can't read the Bhagavad Gita. I get a very big headache. I get a big headache. Yesterday I had 2 people, and these 2 people, I think it's over 1,000 now that have come to the ashram, that only saw the ashram from the M19. So after they started noticing Vasanda's ashram when we cut the bush. When we cut this bush, this ashram was a dilapidated pink building, and they were working in Pine Town for 20 years. So up and down, so they saw every progress of this ashram, but they could only land here yesterday. They live in Newlands West. They said they'll be here next week. Well, let's see. So yesterday they made about 5 attempts to find the entrance of this ashram, and they came down and they sat. And I always have a 2-hour discussion with somebody brand new that comes in. And we discussed how the parents and grandparents, Nadine, Mr. Vasan, or your mother-in-law, how they wrap the Bhagavad Gita in a red cloth and duck it somewhere and say, mustn't touch this. Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana are tied in a red cloth and hidden somewhere. Basic book of instructions for humans is hidden somewhere. They said, no, we are not clean to touch it. We are not clean to touch it. And that is why only 1% of Hindus know. You understand, all of you? So I discussed with these 2 people, they agreed with me. Bhagavad Gita was spoken so that I can speak it to you. And you can take it and open it and read it yourself. You understand? Whether you're a vegetarian or not a vegetarian, you can open the Bhagavad Gita. You can open the Bhagavad Gita. If Bhagavad Gita is for all of humanity, then why can't Prince, when I send him back to his kingdom, he'll be wearing animal skins. He'll be wearing animal skins. He'll be boiling a big pot of chicken and sand beer. You know sand beer? When he took me to Eastern Cape, I sat with all his chiefs there, and they gave me one big beer to drink. And a big piece of cow. Big piece of cow, you understand? So when Prince is gone there, must he be denied the Bhagavad Gita? Let's be realistic. Because the Bhagavad Gita is for all of mankind. Although in the Bhagavad Gita, Prince, the Lord says you can offer him flower, leaf, water and fruit. What you can offer him? is indirectly telling you no beer and no cow. What he said? Indirectly what is telling you? Yeah. Do you all know that Jesus Christ was a vegetarian? Didn't you know? Jesus Christ was a vegetarian. Alright? Just bringing some spiritual truths. Alright? Because the first commandment says, thou shalt not. And his commandment, that commandment has to be supreme. Has to be. And thou shalt not kill, there's a full stop there. Alright? So, my teachings become controversial. My teachings, last week I said, when I go and meet people, and if I have to sit in a restaurant in the same table, while the person that I met is eating meat and I'm eating my vegetable, the guru system will tell you it is not allowed, but no scripture will tell you it is not allowed. And I follow scripture. If I want 100 addicts in a dungeon to become clean, can I go preach in the dungeon? And if they are eating meat and drugging and having alcohol in the dungeon, must I wait for them to get sober, or I must to save and make them sober, when must I catch them? In their environment, whatever is happening in their environment, whether they are drunk, whether they are drugged, whether they are filthy, I have to find them as they are. Then where does all that rule fit? If you're a guru, you can't be with somebody who's eating meat or who's drinking. Because when I'm going to save these people in another environment, in their environment, why must that formula not work? Do you understand? So it's controversial. Many gurus will get upset with me, friends, because I'm giving them work now. I'm saying, get out of your ashram. Take your orange uniform. Your orange uniform is not just to touch people's head. Go into society and... Jessica, I like to use this phrase. Can I use it? Tell her what you must. Person, you like it? You understand what I'm saying? Gurus need to start working. Their job is not to just sit in the ashram and think things will come right. According to the Vedas, you see in the Kurukshetra war, must go read the Mahabharata. In the Kurukshetra war, who Arjuna did not want to kill that was on the other side? And who they were? They were his acharyas. They were his gurus that were on the other side, that he did not want to kill. He said, I don't want to kill my military guru. I don't want to kill my military acharya. Where God put the gurus? In the front line or blowing horns right at the back? Front line. Gurus must be in the front line for fighting righteousness. Not only gurus, pastors, Maulanas, rabbis, they must be right in the front, because they are the moral compass of society. Are they not? Where the morality must be hidden. You saw South Africa. Why South Africa became a rogue state? Because where were the religious leaders in South Africa? Now religious leaders are going in the front. I'm taking them in the front. That is why I joined MK and I put my MK cap to show religious leaders that they can identify with political parties of their choice. Let's test this. So I I'm a religious leader from this ashram who is a MK. Then you get a religious leader from another organization who's the ANC. One is a DA, one is a EFF. They have a choice. Don't they have a choice? When all of the religious leaders get together from the various parties of their choice and we discuss ethics and morality, is ethics and morality an essence of the party, or is it an essence on its own? And we formulate when we are seated that, listen, when you go back to the party of your choice, instill ethics and morality which we all sit together on a platform as religious leaders that belong to different entities. What is going to happen to the moral and ethical essence of political parties? What's going to happen? What will happen to the hands that are in the cookie jars already? Prince? Sorry, Prince, you joined politics late. Now we're scrapping hand in the cookie jar and terminologies like gravy train. We want you to work. Not to know somebody, but you must work. No deployment through association, Jessica. Deployment through merit. You think all the religious leaders in this country, pastors, Maulanas, gurus, we join our own parties, then we come together as interfaith, we fix things up. You think it's not going to work? Who got the biggest vote bank? The religious leaders. We got the biggest vote bank. If we come back and we clean, you must have multi-party. In a democracy, you must have many parties. There's no problem with many. That's when a democracy becomes vibrant. You can't only eat BB bread. You must have Albany. What are the bread they got? Sasko, Sun, what? Sunshine. Nirali want to open a bakery, Moonshine. We must have variety. But the variety, if divinity is instilled in them, what's going to happen to our country? It's all about entities. If our country is vibrating beyond lies, you saw the ANC speaking lies yesterday, again in Kailicha. ANC is 113 years old. How many stadiums do you think they're supposed to fill?
11 provinces.
Every province is supposed to have a stadium filled. Every province supposed to have a stadium filled. Who came with me to Moses Mabhida? Was Moses Mabhida full? But what the newspaper is saying, what the big business narrative is saying, wasn't full. You understand? If they are in Khayelitsha, and I got evidence from the mayor of Cape Town. They said they went to Khayelitsha because they want to connect grassroots level. The mayor disputed it. He said they came very late for Cape Town Stadium. There are 2 stadiums in Cape Town, and both the stadiums were booked already. Now what do you think happened to the ANC's throat chakra? The ANC's throat chakra, because they are not authentic even to themselves. Monsieur Fikile, you know, to have a president like Ramaphosa, to have a chairperson like Gwede Mantashe, and to have a secretary general like Fikile, the ANC have to be desperate. The ANC have to be desperate. Am I right or wrong? Look at these 3 people. They don't sing the same from the same hymn sheet. These 3 people don't sing from the same hymn sheet. Go and listen to everything that they say. So I'm happy that the ashram knocked. How many percent from there? Vince, you did autobiography.
10%.
Yeah, we knocked our 10%. Sri Narayan Dham, we gave them a knock for Nirali of 10%, which I predicted and prophesied in 2021. In 2024 May, we achieved it. Okay? All of you understand? I crisscross my discourse to balance what I want to say at the end. To balance what I want to say at the end. Spirituality is the only medication. Spirituality is the only medication for the survival of humankind, and to be spiritual, you have to transcend religion. To be spiritual, you have to transcend religion. Like I said, when I sit in the circle of addicts in an NA meeting, when a newcomer comes in, and he can be a Muslim, and if he is next to a Hindu, the Hindu will grab him and love him. And the Hindu will tell him, I'll continue to love you until you learn to love yourself. I will continue to love you until you learn to love yourself. The same to Muslim in his own mosque. People who look down upon him as a drug addict and an untouchable. That same Hindu in ashram will be an untouchable. But yeah, at this level, they will embrace themselves spiritually, breaking all religious barriers. Same with blacks, same with whites, same with colors. Yeah, you transcend racial boundaries, cultural boundaries, and religious boundaries, and you merge into consciousness of oneness. And this is my mission, and this is my philosophy, to transcend all human boundaries, to transcend all human boundaries and become one, and become spiritual. All of you understand? So I hope this discourse, although I ran it across many subjects, my end point is that there is, you can't sit there anywhere in the world and say the Guru is dreaming. The Guru is not dreaming, because the NA exists, the AA exists. Go see in your local place, wherever there's a meeting, go there and see spirituality in action. Then also go on my YouTube from 2021 right up to the present and download. You'll see spirituality in action. We have made it tangible. We have made it real. All of you understand? So those of you that here in ashram for me to say Om, 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 Swaha, forget it. For I'm not a Om Swaha Guru. I'm not a Om Swaha Guru. I am here to not only fix you, I'm here to fix all our brothers and sisters. That is Sanatan Dharma. That is in the Rig Veda. And if you read in the Rig Veda, it is stated right at the outset, all this scripture, we are one diverse family. And I'm reinstating. Even if it does not happen in my lifetime, I know at the ashram, I finished doing my work things. Now my biography is on work already done. We finished it, we were successful. It's been acknowledged right around. And you need to also do that. Racism. I also discussed racism amongst Indians. I discussed this in my biography because I felt it is necessary. Is it not necessary? You know, in my police career, lots of Indian women were killed in Reservoir Hills. Vasan? Nana? How many Indian ladies were killed in Reservoir Hills? Brutal killings, even of some Indian men. And when we investigated, we found the maid was involved. Didn't we? And we left it there, hey, black people killed rich Indians. But I went further and found out from that maid what made you come to this mentality. And it was always abuse. We know that. We can't lie. Our own family, our own people that we know have abused black people for centuries. Is it not? Is it not the truth? Like anything else, don't we have to acknowledge it? Racism within us, don't we have to acknowledge it? And don't we have to cure it? Look at our proportion. How many of us in South Africa? 1.6 million? And what's the proportion to African blacks? 50 million? 1.6 million, 50 million. When we upset them, then we say blacks are bad people. For every 1.5 Indian, there's 50 blacks. Do you understand? And also discuss that when these riots happen, why it is easy to ignite black people during this riot. Why is it easy? It's because if you're an abusive boss, if you're an abusive Indian, when the Africans go back to the community, when they sit, you don't think they discuss the abuse of Indians? Yes or no? I'm being logical and practical. Do they discuss the abusive bosses?
Yes.
They also discuss the good bosses, yes or no? It's a natural thing. After 1-2 years, you say, hey, that's all Vasan. You understand? So, Banana City, what do you think of Vasan? Huh? Yeah, already they got the guns pointed, only thing, no bullets. When there's racial tension, what happens? Bullets materialize and Indians catch it. Then what we go? We cry victim. But do we acknowledge our part of the abuse in this? And I wrote there in my biography that many Indians going to start hating the Guru. But this is the truth. Is it not the truth? Then the reverse side of this, Jessica, is Indians don't back black majority parties. Why? It's for the same reason. 1949, 1984, and now 2021. Both sides, the Indians are not backing the blacks because of the riots and the killings. Yes or no? These are things we need to discuss as a society. If we're going to keep it hidden, there can be another flashpoint. And KZN is the eThekwini especially is the greatest flashpoint area, is it not? And this is why I have ventured into the African communities. You don't see me everywhere with Jessica. We are everywhere, in Kandla, Greytown, Amlazi, wherever we are, to show that all Indians are not racist and that we want to bridge the original love between Indians and blacks. Is there original love between Indians and blacks?
Yes.
Go onto all my videos. I have become a celebrity in MK. Yes or no, Jessica?
Yes.
You all do the photographing. If I enter a stadium or if I enter a mass gathering, if I enter a court case, over 1,000 photographs. Over at each event. You understand? Why would a black person run to an Indian guru and take photograph?
To identify yourself with him.
Because there is a yearning in humanity to love and respect other cultures. It's a natural yearning. And these are not high profile people. This is not the high command of the MK party. This is not the high command. I'm talking about the ordinary people that swarm us. My last video, again, my former chairperson's girlfriend, I know they won't like it, but I have to say this. My last video went viral. That video at Moses Mabida, if we have to take all the videos and put them together on TikTok, is the highest singularly. It's me shaking hands with black disabled people. It was natural. 200 religious leaders walked past them without noticing them. I noticed them and I went and I shook their hands. That video is gone viral, you understand? It's gone viral not by Indians, it's gone viral by the black community. And I have about 10 other videos praying. Wherever I pray in MK, those videos go viral. And maybe one day I want to have a challenge with President Zuma, a photo challenge and a video challenge, and see who's more popular in MK, President Zuma or Acharya Sham Ramanuj. I think somebody must organize one meeting, so I just want to have Zuma a challenge. You understand? And I'm saying this with love. I'm saying to foster love, I don't have to take Chatsworth to Amlazi. I can go myself to Amlazi. It takes one. It takes one. Why do you think they are attracted to me? Because my throat chakra is not. No lies here. No lies. I'm vibrating at my authentic frequency. I am the symbol, living symbol of oneness, am I not? That is why Maulanas could come to this ashram and pray in front of my idols. You know it's a breakthrough. All of you know that Maulanas, bishops and pastors never pray in ashram. You all know that or don't know? In the presence of my idols. Was it in the presence of my idols?
Yes.
Yes. Why do you think that happened? Because the throat chakra is unblocked. I'm vibrating at my authentic self. That attraction, that frequency also attracted them, and they were blind to boundaries, superficial boundaries that exist. You can do that, Nirali. Go to Brookdale after satsang and meet people. And meet people. Have love. Give love. Exude love. That is all that's needed. That is all that's needed. Are there any questions? You're an evolving soul. You are an evolving soul. By me going out and embracing the black community with love. Whilst I'm doing that, we get robbed here at the ashram by the same black community. Yes? Are you understanding? Sometimes I'm there at Moses Mabida. 2 truck tires got stolen worth 4,000. I know the story. Who created them to steal? Us. To us they are in poverty, aren't they? If you break it down. Because as a community, we live and we live independently. So we need to break these barriers. The Guru has shown you all. And I'm happy with the devotees of this ashram, although a handful, it's not only the Guru that have broken the barriers, it's all of us together. Jessica and I have been going into places for over 20 years? 20 years. This is nothing new to us. We've been going to all types of places. Seva, Satish and Jessica, Seva is part of their lifetime. They've been doing Seva as a husband and wife for a very, very long time. So they fitted in to the system. Only thing is one kukruku. That's a problem. One day that kukruku will fly. Alright, but here we are, 2025. We want personal growth, but we also pray for universal growth. We want personal growth. We want to be auspicious consciousness, but for you to gain anything personally, just give the next man something. Just give the next man something, and God will give you everything. Here the two words: give the next man something, and God will give you everything. So as ashram, as I'm saying again, and I wrote in my biography, when they told me to open an ashram in Reservoir Hills, there are 3 big name international ashrams in Reservoir Hills. 3 big name and 2 other halls that have big services. And I told myself, in the same place, and 2 35-year-old satsangs of Guruji in Durban, one in Victoria Street, one in Westville. These things intimidated me. But I opened my ashram in a classroom, and today the world is our classroom. Yes or no? I opened it in a physical school classroom. Today our discourses are dispersed around the world. Yes? At that time I never knew what social media was. But like Vasan, I simply followed the instructions of my Guru, without questioning my Guru one bit. And Vasan has done that for me years now, Vas?
10 years, I think.
Yeah. It wasn't very long with me, no? Too long, Vas? Nirali, how many years you with me? 2014 to now? 2014, 6, 10 years. You are 10 years. Yes, I opened that branch at the temple in April 2014. The fireworks, where your father was the chairman.
I think I joined in 2016.
2015.
So you want 10 years from like this?
8 years.
8 years. So I asked Naveen at that branch, I said this again, I'd like to say it one more time. So I said, Naveen, long in the temple, he said, yeah, I'm the chairman. I said, no, nice to meet you. Chairman, he said, yeah, I said the chair. Jai Shriman Narayan.
I'll take over the phone. I'll sit in the chair.
And Naveen was serious,